Good afternoon, Professor
Hello.
Aylward. How are you?
Hi, Dr. J.
I understand you did some very interesting things over the summer. You mind telling us a little bit about that?
I'd love to. We went, my husband and I, who teaches here too, went on a trip to Mesa Verde, which is in Colorado, and we saw 2,000-year-old, or actually, it's not about, some of them are almost that old, but many were from the 1200s, and they're ancient cliff dwellings by the Puebloan Indians. They used to be called Anasazi Indians, but that means ancient enemy in an Indian language, and they did not want to be referred to as ancient enemies.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be referred to as ancient either. Okay.
But they occupied the cliff dwellings and then mysteriously left them. They abandoned them after all the work. And getting into the cliff dwellings means climbing down and up into the cliff to get into them. And they were amazing. They let us do it. They had guided tours. And I do have a photo.
Well, I know you have your camera with you, so I know you take some photos.
We took some photos.
Right. Tell us about this photo.
Oh wow! It was one of the dwellings, and all the families lived up here, and they think to protect themselves from maybe other tribes. I'm not sure. They're not sure because there's no written language, but they're in the cliffs. You have to climb up into them, and all those little holes I thought were windows are places where they climbed in and out of with ladders, and inside there are these circular places, and they call them kivas, and they protected themselves in the wintertime, had fires. They figured out a way to flue the smoke. There's
I'm
a lot
going to ask you about that climate thing, because we get used to our creature comforts here,
Yes.
Where you got air conditioning, heat, and things like that. But I'm pretty sure in ancient times that stuff just didn't exist.
Yes. And so these are on mesas, and the cliffs are in the mesas, the steep mesa part, the inside, the top part, they grew corn and other crops and lived off that. And so the families were in here, and they built all these adobe bricks and put them together, and they worked. And they lived pretty short lives. I learned a lot about them. I actually did a painting. I thought these were wonderful pieces of architecture, ancient architecture. And I'm closing that door because there's noise out there. But we were fascinated by this.
You've got other photos to share as well, right?
I do have other photos.
Okay.
And
We'll post some of them up online.
We pulled some of them up, and my husband and I climbed and went through, and some of them were very challenging hikes.
Yeah.
And another thing I was interested in was the petroglyphs. They did leave some images of petroglyphs, and I believe I sent you an image. Okay. And it shows all the petroglyph is what they carve into the wall. They incise images into the wall, and a lot of symbols and pictures. And they're just all over this. I think you have to walk into this very narrow passageway and up and around to get to it. It's just mind-boggling how the people got from here to there. They say they abandoned the places because of a 24-year drought.
Wow. And
they carbon dated the wood that was in the structures to find out what years, and then they checked the rings of the wood to find out there was a drought. So that is their theory, is that drought drove them
out. Wow.
And they went to New Mexico. So you find a lot of the Pueblo reservations now in New Mexico where they were residing.
Wow. Well, as long as I've known you, you've always had very full summers, very adventuresome things to do. So what do you see on the horizon? What's your next trip? What's your next adventure going to be?
My next adventure is out of the country. I'm going to Taiwan. I'm going to be in an international art exhibit, which is in the Contemporary Museum in Taiwan, with about 120 artists from all over the world.
Wow.
So I'm trying to learn a little Chinese.
Okay.
I have some Chinese students whom I'm going to, I only know thank you, and I think it's sha sha or something, or she she, and I'm going to have to learn at least some cursory language.
Okay.
so I can get by. And I think it's the right thing to do when you're traveling, is to be able to speak some of the language,
Yeah.
to get by. And a lot of the Asian countries, thank goodness, speak English, speak some English, speak more English than I speak Chinese. So I would like to reciprocate and learn some for them.
Well, I certainly look forward to talking to you when you return from that trip as well. And maybe we'll get the opportunity to even do a video on it.
Oh, it'd be wonderful. I'd love to show all the artists' work. And, you know, it's always exciting to meet your contemporaries from all over the world and see what they're doing and what's going on in their life and their take.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for affording me the opportunity to interview you today, and look forward to seeing you again soon.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Now say thank you again in Chinese.
Oh, I can't say thank you.